Hey everybody. There's a new, better build than the one I just made. So this is the new build, and why I think this build is much better than the previous build is because it saves a lot of points and it goes down multiple trees. And by the time I hit 72, I will have 2 trees fully maxed out correctly. So first off, we're going to focus on the blue tree. You want 5 points here. Empty the Rage has to have 5 points. Feed the Meat can have 5 points, although you can make it 4 points rather than 5 points in order to use on the red tree, but I made it 5 points. Fuel the Rampage is 5 points. Strip the Flesh is 5 points, and these are self-explanatory, honestly. But if you need any help figuring this out, this adds melee damage, this adds health, this adds cooldown recharge. This is essential for getting your super as quickly as possible for the blue. So this helps get your hero ability as fast as possible. This is increasing explosive damage that you do just in general, so that's helpful. And it even increases explosions further if you're in fight for your life, but that's really not necessary. You're going to skip Embrace the Pain, skip Thrill of the Kill, skip Light the Fuse, skip Pull the Pin, and skip Salt the Wound. All of those are completely useless for this build, mostly because we're not going to be taking a bunch of damage after our shields are down, and even if we are, we really don't need the melee damage or the shotgun damage stacks that it adds, especially because we know that during this build, it's a rush-heavy build, and you're not going to be wanting a lot of people to hit you at all, period. So you really don't need any of those. Seeing as when you field test this, you don't need the health, obviously, because you're going to get all your health back every kill you get. So you really don't need the overkill heals. So that saves you points. And you really don't need Salt the Wound either, because again, it's not going to matter. You're going to be very heavy on your ability and very light on your guns. So you don't really need the extra melee damage it adds, because it's not much, and you don't really need the shotgun damage, because who cares? You're not going to be getting hit that much after your shield's down, because once you get to 30% health, it's over, and you won't really need the stacks. You can put points here if you really feel you want Salt the Wound over whatever I have in this build, but I honestly don't care for it. It's not that helpful. It doesn't add any more or less damage. The build works fine without it, so you don't need this. You can use it if you want, but you really don't need it. And it'll just blow points that'll mess up this build. So you really don't need Salt the Wound. So you're going to skip all those. You want 5 for Silence the Voices so that you can have a lot more melee damage. And if you pay attention to my Twitch stream, or you need a video showing why this is good, I will demonstrate the build later in this video. So you get to see what it's like doing this in action. And then you want this, of course, because that's your hero ability. Alright, next tree, you want... How many did I do? 3 and 2. You want 3 points here for blood-filled guns and 2 points here, or you can do it the other way around, 3 and then 2. But you only want 3 and 2 between these 2 perks. So you can even put all 5 into 1 if you want, but you just need 5 cumulatively on this first row. So I went with 3 and 2. Seeing as I'm already getting a bunch more points anyway because of my class mod, which I'll show off in a minute. You want 5 for Taste of Blood because this helps. And this helps because during Buzzak's Rampage, the damage you suffer is reduced. So you get 50% less damage, and Bloodlust stacks plus 30 per kill. So that's pretty useful. And then after that, you just want to buy Buzzsack's Bombarder, which is how I'm getting the insane damage. So all you need together is the 5 here, the 5 here, and the 1 here. And that's it. You only need the 15 points. Or, the 16. 5, 10, 11. You only need the 11 points total in the green tree. Then we're going to move on to the red tree. You want 3 here and 3 here to get the red tree going, which is a lot of elemental and fire damage. And it'll also increase your chance of getting lit on fire. Then you want 4 here. All damage received is reduced while you're on fire. So that's really helpful. Then you want the 1 here for delusional damage. That gives you elemental status effects you inflict have a chance to light yourself on fire. So that's helpful because when you're doing any elemental at all, including explosive, you're going to get lit on fire, and you want to be lit on fire a lot. So then you want melee attacks have a chance to ignite enemies, and if you ignite them, you have a chance of also self-igniting yourself, because there's all these chance when you light somebody else on fire, you have a chance to light yourself on fire as well. So this is really helpful. And then you want Hellfire Halitosis. This is kind of useful. You can go without it if you don't like it, but I like it, so I included it, and it lets you breathe fire for your melee. It has a 15-second cooldown, though, but it's kind of useful. Just as a little, it makes the build more fun to play with. And this is Flame Flare. It increases the duration of your burn effects, and then you're just going to progress down until you hit the bottom of Raving Retribution. So altogether, you want the blue tree and the red tree fully maxed, and you want only 11 points in the green tree, cumulatively till you get Buzzsack's Bombardier. And so now I'm going to show off this this build altogether, and why it's the most effective build probably that you could possibly play on Psycho. So I'm going to turn in some quests really quick, and then I'm going to get back out into the field. And if you want, pay attention to my streams. I do a lot of Borderlands builds and general tips, and I'm always learning, so I'm always coming up with new good stuff. So pay attention to my streams so that if you play this game like I do, if you play it at all, some of my stuff is pretty helpful to know. But now we're going to go back to Lynchwood and complete a quest so you can see just how ridiculous my damage output is. So we're going to do the quest for, what is it? Showdown. We're going to do Showdown, and then we're going to do Animal Rescue, but all you got to pay attention to is whatever I'm doing in Showdown, or just what I'm doing in normal, in order to realize how to play with the build, because I understood that my last video, which I'm probably going to remove because it's not as good as this build, so I'm just probably going to remove that straight out and get rid of that video because it's pointless. This video is going to show exactly how to play this game, like with the Psycho. And so yeah, that other video is going to be completely pointless. Oh great, I just killed myself. It's freaking great. But yeah, I wanted to show off, you know. Am I back in the train station again?
Hyperion says life
Nope.
is for living, and death is for running from at all costs.
Anyway, so you're going to be able to see my actual damage output, but I wanted to show off how to play with the build so people know not to make rookie mistakes and just go melee only, because that's not what this build is designed for. Melee is sure helpful, yes, but you only want to use melee really as a last resort so that you're not hitting yourself in the face a bunch of times. Because the reason I bought Silence the Voices is for the sole point of so if you watch, I'm always watching my health, which you need to do. then you can become a super badass, and you're going to want to throw your axes. All of the whole build is mainly based on throwing your axes. You're going to want to focus in on targets and pick them off with throwing the axes. You'll get all your health back, as you can see. So every time you activate that, you'll get your health back. And as you notice, my super ability immediately reloaded back to square one. So you don't have to wait the cooldown if you wait on your ability. So you don't have to be spamming your ability 24/7. Just wait until you're at 33% health when that little red triangle pops up. And then once that red triangle pops up, activate your ability really quickly, and you'll get all of your health back, and you'll get the ability back once it's over. And then, as you can see, melee is incredibly crazy, seeing as I have 250% extra melee. So yes, it's effective, but yeah, it's also ineffective because you have a small chance of hitting yourself in the face and dealing all that melee damage to yourself, like so. So yeah, you want to be very careful and not spam your melee too often, because it's 12% of the total amount of times you swing your axe, so it's 12%. So let's say you swing your axe 10 times, 12% chance of those 10 times you'll hit yourself in the face and do your own melee damage to yourself. It is kind of useful if you want to take yourself down in damage, and also the fireball ability is quite useful when you're not using this, because it doesn't actually count as a melee attack, so you won't hit yourself in the face using that because of the animation. And yes, I can kill Nisha in like 3 seconds with this build. So altogether, really nice thing to do is this build. So you don't want to be spamming melee, you want to be spamming your axes, and yeah. And as far as the fire stuff, it just helps. It just works, as you would probably say. It's effective because whenever you're using this ability, you have a chance to light yourself on fire, which I am, and that reduces damage even more. So altogether, you're not taking a whole lot of damage to your health. You're getting all your health back every time you kill somebody. You're doing insane melee output and insane explosive output. And oh yeah, also let me 1% chance mention the fact that my stats are totally glitched, so that really helps. You do a lot more damage than you're supposed to. Takes a while, but this glitch is still active, and even without the glitch, this build is insane, but with the glitch, this build is way more insane. So if you don't know how to do that, there are videos on how to glitch your badass tokens, so that you can have insane stats like I do. But even without those, this build is the best build, like hands down. But it's just better to play with glitch stats, because I've already been OPA multiple times on different characters, and your stats aren't really going to ever be that high, and it's just more fun to play if you've already played through the game fair a couple times and gotten a couple characters to OPA. You have a bunch of badass tokens that you can utilize for the glitch, so I'd recommend doing it, just because it makes you completely overpowered and just completely nonsensically ridiculous. But even without doing the stats glitch, this build is the hands down best build to have for the Psycho, period. And so just if you're at 63, level 63 or level 60, you should be able to pull this build off, and it's really quite hysterically fun build to use. So thank you everybody, and have a good one.